Good evening, everybody. Today's topic is antigen processing and presentation. We have already studied about antigen processing, antigen presenting cells. You can classify them into professional and non-professional cells, and the major ones are the professional. There are three types of professional antigen presenting cell. We have the macrophages, dendritic cells, and the B cells. With this basic introduction, let us see how the antigen is processed and presented. Already we have studied about the T cell receptor, how the T cells on their surface they express receptors called the T cell receptors, which recognize and bind with antigen which are presented to them on MHC molecules. So here diagrammatically you can see we have the CD4 plus T cells, which are the helper T cells. When they come in contact with an antigen directly, they cannot recognize and bind them. So no T cell response will be seen. But the same antigen, when it is presented by an antigen presenting cell through an MHC molecule, the T cell receptors will recognize antigen MHC complex and will get activated and will lead to T cell response. So this is what we have understood. So diagrammatically you can see how the T cell will recognize an MHC antigen complex and will get activated. So here is a complete picture of how the T cell, how the antigen is processed and presented. You can see the processing and presentation takes place in two different ways. One, by the MHC class 1 molecule and presentation on the class 1 molecule to cytotoxic T cells, and the second one is presentation through class 2 molecule to T helper cells. So this diagram you need not remember because I have given another diagram at the end which will give you the complete picture. So let us see the antigen processing and presentation process in detail. There are two pathways which are followed. The first pathway is where the antigen is presented through class 1 MHC molecule. Please remember, class 1 MHC molecules are always associated with endogenous peptides produced from endogenous antigen. We have already studied there are two types of antigen, and endogenous antigens and exogenous antigen. So class 1 MHC always presents peptides produced from endogenous antigen, and class 2 MHC molecules are always associated with peptides from exogenous antigen, right? So you can see here class 1 MHC molecule, they have the ability to activate CD8 plus cells, which are nothing but cytotoxic T cells, and they present endogenous antigens like viral antigens, and those cells which express class 1 MHC on their surface, they are killed by the cytotoxic T cell, hence they are called as the target cell. And any cell can become virally infected and they will start expressing MHC class 1 on their surface. Hence, all nucleated cells have the ability to express MHC class 1 on their surface. Whereas, MHC class 2 will always activate CD4 plus cells or the T helper cell. They present only exogenous antigens like from the bacteria. And these CD4 plus cells, they have the ability to upregulate all the immune functions. And MHC class 2 is expressed only on specific cells which are called as antigen presenting cells. So here is a brief picture of what is happening. Cells that express class 1 MHC molecule, they present only endogenous antigen and they are killed by the CD8 plus cells or the cytotoxic T cells. Hence they are called as the target cells. Cells which are expressing class 1 MHC on their surface, they are called as target cells. The cells that express class 2 MHC on their surface, they present exogenous antigen and they activate CD4 plus or the T helper cell. And these cells which express class 2 on their surface, they are called as antigen presenting cell. Right? So here is a difference between MHC class 1 and class 2. This I have already told you, a very, very important 2-mark question. Okay, now antigen is processed in two separate pathways. First is called as cytosolic pathway, where endogenous antigens are processed. The other one is called as endocytic pathway, where exogenous antigens are processed. Hence, antigen processing is carried out in two separate pathways. The pathway where endogenous antigens are processed, they are called as cytosolic pathway, and the pathway where exogenous antigens are processed, that is called as endocytic pathway. Please remember, cytosolic pathway processes endogenous antigen and endocytic pathway processes exogenous antigen. Let us see how the processing is taking place, the overall picture. Endogenous antigen, they are once they are present in the body, they are recognized and bound by a protein called ubiquitin in presence of ATP, and this leads to formation of cytoplasmic proteasome complex, because the moment any protein or antigen is bound by ubiquitin, it will be recognized by proteasome, a protein which has the ability to degrade protein, right? So other proteins. So this proteasome will go and bind with endogenous and ubiquitin complex, leading to formation of cytoplasmic proteasome complex, and this proteasome will break the endogenous antigen into smaller peptides. These peptides can undergo different pathways. One, it will be bound by TAP, another protein which is involved in transport of these broken peptides to the endoplasmic reticulum. This is one pathway. Another pathway is these peptides can also be further broken down into small amino acid, into individual amino acid by another protein called exopeptidases. Exopeptidases will cleave the amino acid from the peptide one by one, and we will get amino acid which will be recycled. Okay, these peptides, when they are transported with the help of TAP protein to endoplasmic reticulum, there they will be bound by class 1 MHC molecule, and this class 1 MHC bound peptide will then be expressed on the surface of the target cells. This is what is happening in the cytosolic pathway. Similar to this, in the endocytic pathway, the exogenous antigen, once it enters into the body, once they are captured. Now, capturing of these endogenous antigen can happen in two processes, through two processes. One is called as endocytosis, the other one is called as phagocytosis. Macrophages, they capture these exogenous antigen through the process of phagocytosis. B cells, they capture these exogenous antigens through the process of endocytosis. In both the cases, they will enter into the endocytic compartment where they are broken into smaller peptides. These peptides, in the same way as we saw in cytosolic pathway, can either be broken into individual amino acids through exopeptidases, or they can be combined with class 2 MHC molecule to form peptide class 2 MHC complex, which will be expressed on the surface of antigen presenting cell. So these are the two ways how the antigen is, different types of antigens are processed through different pathways, right? So let us talk about each pathway in detail. First, we will see the cytosolic pathway, which processes endogenous antigen. In cytosolic pathway, the three activities which lead to processing and presentation, they are peptide generation from proteolysis, which we have seen just now, then transport to endoplasmic reticulum with the help of TAP protein, and finally binding of the peptide to class 1 MHC molecule. These are the three major steps involved in cytosolic pathway. Let us see each step in detail. The first step is peptide generation. For peptide generation, the protein has to be first targeted by combining with another small protein called ubiquitin. This ubiquitin protein complex is degraded by another protein called proteasome, which will break these peptides, the entire protein or the endogenous antigen, into smaller peptides. And these peptides can now go and bind with MHC class 1 molecule, right? So next step is transport to endoplasmic reticulum. As I have already informed, this transport of peptide to endoplasmic reticulum happens by binding to another small protein called transporter protein associated with antigen processing, in short TAP, TAP. Right? Now this TAP is a heterodimer which uses ATP for the transport of these small peptides of the size 8 to 10 amino acid long to the lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum. Usually TAP will bind to the basic amino acid at the COH end of the peptide chain. So this is how the transport takes place. After transport, the peptide has to bind with the MHC molecule, MHC class 1 molecule. So for this binding of peptide with class 1 MHC molecule, that occurs in various stages. So the diagram you can see on the left hand side, the assembly of MHC class 1, it starts by with the help of chaperone protein, which promotes the folding of the protein. Now the first step is binding of calnexin, which is a small protein, calnexin to MHC1 alpha chain, MHC class 1 alpha chain. So only alpha chain is present. This alpha chain will bind with calnexin. I'll show you using a better diagram. You can see here class 1 MHC alpha chain will bind with calnexin, and in presence of chaperone protein, the folding of this will take place, leading to assembly of calnexin associated class 1 MHC alpha chain. To this, the next small portion of the MHC class 1, which is called as the beta D microglobulin. If you go back to the MHC video lecture of class 1 and class 2 MHC structure, you will understand the structure contains alpha chain and beta 2 microglobulin. So next step is addition of beta 2, binding of beta 2 microglobulin to this calnexin associated class 1 MHC alpha chain. This association will also lead to binding of another protein, two proteins called tepassin and calreticulin. Tepassin and calreticulin will go and bind with the calnexin associated class 1 MHC alpha chain and beta T microglobulin. Now this binding will lead to dissociation of calnexin from the complex and binding of the peptide. Okay, before this, how did the peptide come closer is with the help of TAP. So this tepassin calreticulin will bring the TAP associated peptide close to the MHC assembly. Now this closeness will help the MHC class 1 to bind to the peptide. You can see here, because of binding of calreticulin and tepassin, the TAP associated peptide will come closer to this MHC class 1 complex, and this closeness will help in binding of the peptide to the peptide binding site of the alpha chain. On binding of the peptide, the tepassin and calreticulin will be dissociated, leaving only the class 1 MHC molecule peptide complex. This will then be removed, or it will leave the endoplasmic reticulum and will enter into the Golgi apparatus. From there, they will be through the small globules, they will be expressed on the plasma membrane. So that is about the cytosolic pathway. Coming to the endocytic pathway or the processing of exogenous antigen, this we have already seen starts with the process of endocytosis in case of B cells and phagocytosis in case of macrophages. We will just take the example of endocytic pathway, which we have already seen when we were talking about antigen presenting cells and how the B cells act as antigen presenting cell. We have seen how the B cell receptors present on the B cells will cross-link with the antigen, and they are internalized in small vesicles called endosomes, where the antigen is processed and broken into smaller peptides, and they bind with the MHC class 2 molecule, and which will come out and will be expressed on the surface, and the BCR or the B cell receptor will then further be recycled to come and express on the surface as fresh BCRs. So this is endocytic pathway. Now let us see how the MHC class 2 assembly takes place. In this case here, I told you that the peptides which are processed will be expressed on the class 2. How is that class 2 assembly taking place? That is what we are going to see here. So it starts with assembly of the class 2 MHC chain, alpha and beta. To this alpha and beta chain, this is combined with another protein called the invariant chain, which is abbreviated as capital I small I and or CD74. This invariant chain will specifically go and combine with the alpha beta chains of MHC class 2 at the antigen binding cleft. You can see here it is bound at the antigen binding cleft. After this binding, the proteolysis of the invariant chain will take place, that is cleavage of the invariant chain will take place, leaving only a small part here. You can see at the antigen binding site a small part of the invariant chain is left behind, which is called as clip, right, which is called as clip. The remaining invariant chain is totally digested. CLIP stands for class 2 associated invariant chain peptide. CLIP stands for class 2 associated invariant chain peptide. Now this CLIP has to be removed if the peptide has to come and bind. For this, another MHC molecule called HLA-DM, another class 2 MHC molecule called HLA-DM, which is found in the endosomes. Endosomes are the vesicles within which the peptides, the exogenous antigen which was captured, they are broken into small pieces or peptides. They are present. So this HLA-DM will help in release of CLIP and binding of the peptide. Release of CLIP and binding of the peptide. And once its job is done, it will go away, and now we have the MHC class 2 peptide complex. This MHC class 2 antigen complex is then transported to the protein, the plasma membrane, where they are expressed on the surface, and now they are ready to activate T helper cells. So this is how the expression is taking place. This entire pathway, the two pathways that we have seen, cytosolic pathway and the endocytic pathway, these are the two pathways which are expressed, which are shown here in the form of a diagram. Please learn this diagram. This is a very, very important big question. Please learn it very carefully along with the diagrams. So this completes our antigen processing and presentation. Thank you.